What's up guys, Shadow here, and today I'm going to go over the recently released patch notes for Rainbow Six Siege Velvet Shell mid-season reinforcements. Ubisoft just released these a couple hours ago from the time I'm recording this, and today I'm going to be going over those. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Glass buff. I've talked about it before, but the only thing really to say is it has been confirmed that he is getting a thermal scope. So there's a little story about why his scope was buffed to a thermal sight, kind of like the Chunka's Mira buff thing. So I will try my best to say that without stuttering too much. Selected to represent his country, Operator Timur Glazkov will face elite corps from over 19 different countries across the world at the Worldwide Army Games. He lost the first spot at the sniper competition to former Team Rainbow Operator Galanos, who represented Greece. Galanos is highly regarded in the field, having been decorated for a series of operations, codenamed Raven Shield, led in Rio de Janeiro. After the sniping event, Glaz discussed that there's some ways to modernize one of her prized attachments for her sniper rifles. Glazkov then met her in Cyprus to run a few test sessions before returning to the field with an upgraded scope. Now equipped with sophisticated image sensors, Glaz's flip sight can outline long-range marks even through smokescreen. Now, the fact that they show off a new operator here is amazing, because now we know what one of the Year 3 operators is going to be, and we know one of them is going to be Greece. They did it with Mira, and I would not be surprised at all if they did it again. This topic is so huge, I'm going to make another incomplete video on just that topic, so stay tuned for that. I try my best to read that as fluently as I can, but sometimes reading is not my strong suit. But anyway, there is also a game balance thing similar to Chonka's again, so I'll read that right now. The biggest change in Glaz's flip side is the addition of a thermal visual feedback when ADSing through the scope. This will make defenders really pop when they come into view. It should be noted this will not work through walls, and the visual feedback will only appear when the opponent comes into view. However, the scope will outline your opponents even through smoke grenades, Capital's micro smoke grenades, and smoke's gas canisters. This should make things more interesting for Glaz in close quarters. The next thing to note is that there's going to be technical test servers, kind of like the Battlefield CTE, that will let the community kind of test out the upcoming patches and things like that. Twitch is going to be the next operator to get the elite skin. Personally, I don't like it, but I will show you how it looks right now. Sorry that is extremely low quality, but that's the best I can really do, considering it's a GIF off of Twitter that I just recorded with my screen capture, just because it takes less time than converting it to a video. Anyway, the next thing to notice are some operator changes and slight buffs and minor tweaks and stuff like that. Now, the first thing to mention is that Doc is going to be getting a slight buff to his stim pistol. That when you overheal, you will now overheal to up to 140 HP instead of 120. That is a very, very important buff to Doc. It'll make him much more useful. And I don't know if this is true or not, because I'm pretty sure headshots do 120 damage, so I do want to see if he'll be able to survive a headshot after this. Buck will now be able to have one extra skeleton key mag, just so he can have a little bit more ammo. Whenever I play Buck, I always end up running out of skeleton key ammo really quickly, and I've only been able to make up, like, a few holes. Especially because it's very useful to use as a weapon sometimes, so the extra mag will definitely help Buck a lot. So, first of all, the red dot, Reflex sight, and Holosight reticles are getting smaller. This kind of goes against what they just had with the Velvet Shell update. They increased the sizes of all these reticles, but now they're being shrunk again. I thought these ones were a little bit too big, so it's a good thing that they're getting reduced again. The next thing is that the DMR trigger rates are being, they're going to have a cap, somewhat like Glaz's sniper rifle. You can no longer spam them like an assault rifle and do extreme damage, which is definitely a good thing. And it's really hard to do, but it is extremely overpowered once you get to be able to do it. Echo's MP5 SD is getting a buff. Its damage drop-off is now slightly reduced. It used to do 25 damage from 0 to 10 meters. And then falls to its lowest damage at 14 meters. And it's now has a close range damage of 29 and from 0 to 15 meters. And then it falls off the 14 damage at 20 meters. Thermite's 556XI is getting a recoil decrease. I think that's a good thing, because I love running angled grip on all of my guns, and it makes it really hard to use it with Thermite. I haven't been able to control it, but it's a good thing. It's definitely getting a recoil decrease. A slightly more controversial one is that Cav's pistol is getting a buff. Yeah, the most overpowered pistol in the entire game is getting buffed, and so yeah, the damage drop off is far less severe now, and I don't know if this is a good thing or not because Cav's pistol is it's insane. So Cav is getting a huge buff, and I'm scared. Jackal's C70 is thankfully getting a nerf. The thing is way too overpowered right now, and hopefully that'll make the PDW slightly more viable. Capital's Para 308 is getting a recoil reduction, which is good because I have definitely noticed the recoil on Capital's Para a lot more than I have on Thermite's gun. It seems like the ranked bug where if everyone on the enemy team leaves, you get 0 points. That seems to have been fixed, which is good because that definitely needed to be fixed. Blitz is finally getting a buff. The little delay after you trigger the flash is no longer a thing, and that is a good thing for Blitz. Not the same kind of buff that a lot of people would think, but it's in the right direction. Other than that, that seems to be about all of the important information. The rest of this on here is just little fixes and tweaks, so I will link the full patch notes in the description if you guys want to read all those little tweaks. But I'd like to thank you all for watching, and if you like this video, please sure to leave a like and consider subscribing, and until next time, peace.